Okay, so I'm Brian Kramer. We're here at NADA 2026. I'm here with Ryan Osten. What do you do? How do you do it? And how do you help the industry?
What's up, Brian? So I'm CEO and founder at Lyteflo. We help dealers move EVs faster. We do it with merchandising tools that plug into their website showing EV savings, fuel and maintenance savings, showing affordability for those vehicles, as well as helping them with acquisition of used EVs and moving those faster with EV battery health reports. The number one concern of a shopper or a dealer acquiring an EV is the health of the battery. It's the new odometer. They degrade, they're the most important piece, and so we give instant battery health reports that you can use in appraisal as well as merchandising that vehicle.
So before I go down the rabbit hole on used car acquisition, because it's obviously a hot button of mine.
Yep.
In your former life, what did you do just before this to get to this point?
For sure, yeah. So I was co-founder and COO at Gubagoo. We were a live messaging platform and digital retailing platform. We grew that to 6,000 dealerships. It was a wild ride. We had 300 employees and eventually were acquired by Reynolds & Reynolds. I spent 3 years working at Reynolds & Reynolds after the acquisition and learned a lot there. And after that, left to start Lyteflo.
Yeah, it's great perspective, big corporate, and
for sure.
Versus going back in.
Yeah, startup versus a 5,000 person company. So, a lot of benefits to being at a company that has that sort of scale, that kind of data access, that strength within their dealer body. But it can also be hard to move fast, make decisions fast, and definitely had the itch to get back in there and build again, like we did at Gubagoo, here at Lyteflo.
All right, so let's pull on that thread for a second. So let's take that and move into a dealership analogy. You work with a lot of dealerships, you've worked with a lot of dealerships. So what do you see that you can learn from both those experiences that dealers can learn from to be more nimble, agile, adaptive?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, to me, it all comes down to leadership and your team. Like, we can talk about tactics and strategy, but if you don't have the right people in place, and at Gubagoo and Reynolds, those, when I think about what I learned that really drove the business or challenges within the businesses, it was all about the people and your culture. So who are you hiring? Who are you promoting? How are you enabling them? How are you setting an example for them for excellence? What are the values you're actually setting and embodying on a weekly, monthly basis? Not just saying it. Right. Saying it's one thing,
tolerating?
Right? What are you tolerating? Exactly. That becomes culture. What you tolerate, right? If you see, if you see corners being cut, stuff that's not good for the customer experience as a dealer. We were just talking about it earlier, right? Suboptimal customer experiences. Every little thing matters. Every touch point with the customer and the dealership, when they're walking into the dealership, the outreach that they're getting on a lead follow-up, everything matters. And it starts with your people, training, process, and really...
So let's dig in on EV specifically.
Yep.
So you see the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yep.
What does excellence look like from a used car EV acquisition standpoint? What does that look like?
Yeah, for sure. So EVs are much different than gas vehicles, right? Firstly, you got to know EVs, the time to turn them matters a lot more on EVs. Why?
So true.
Yeah, these things, why do they have greater depreciation, right? Faster depreciation.
Higher volatility.
Yeah, higher volatility, exactly. Why is that? Because you're buying a computer. Okay, think about your iPhone, right? My iPhone was $2,000 2 years ago when I bought it. It's worth $500 now. It's worth 20%, 25% of when I bought it. Why? Because the new ones are coming out with better tech, better battery technology, better charging technology, and so forth. So it's evolving very fast. So you need to be able to turn these fast. Okay?
Also prevents a huge opportunity from an affordability standpoint on the used car side.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Well, I think that used EVs are a tremendous opportunity for dealerships because you can get them, the depreciation has mostly been already realized, and now you're getting a very modern car for $25,000 to $30,000. I had my father-in-law last week say he's looking for a vehicle, would never look at an EV, and when he sees that he can get a Tesla Model 3 for $27,000, $28,000.
It becomes flexible pretty quick.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, exactly, right? So what you need to be doing on the acquisition side, very different than gas vehicle. gas vehicle, you're looking at the odometer, you're looking at market comps, you're looking at recon data, Carfax, wholesale value, all that stuff. The key difference is the EVs have this big thing called the battery. It's the most important and most expensive piece of the vehicle,
and
right?
the most unknown that causes risk aversion and fear.
That's
for
right.
Dealers.
Yeah, for dealers, for the shopper as well, right? And so testing that battery, understanding the battery health of that vehicle and that battery is critical. It's like if you were to buy the car without knowing the odometer, right? And so using a tool like Lyteflo, where we have an OBD device, plugs into the EV, generates a battery health score, showing you degradation of that battery. Not everybody knows this, but batteries degrade. Every battery degrades. So you have less capacity today than you did when it was new. So if it had 300 miles of range when it was new, it might have 290, 280, 270 right now. And that obviously is a key selling factor. It's going to affect the price you're going to pay for the vehicle. And the second thing is that cells actually fail within batteries, okay? So
Not like the whole battery, but just
that's
cells
right.
within
Yeah,
it,
you
right?
can repair those cells, right? And so understanding, is there a potential cell issue with a vehicle when you're appraising is also super important, because you're going to have to send that back to the techs and look at it.
And you could also use it to help sell it to somebody who's indecisive about, I don't know, it's a used EV.
Yep.
How long is this going to last?
For sure.
You can give more confidence.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, we've got a independent battery report shows this vehicle's at 95% still. Eventually we'll have data around like how long that battery will last. These batteries are going to outlast the vehicles. They'll last, we're seeing data come in now from the earliest ones. These things will last like 500,000 miles, I think. So it's not going to be an issue.
300,000.
Yeah. And the cars, they don't need a lot of maintenance. There's not a lot of wear and tear on an engine because there's no engine. But
upper control arms.
Yeah.
There's different types of maintenance.
Yeah. So, but also those battery health tests are an opportunity in service as well. Anytime that EV comes in, offer a complimentary battery health report. People really want to know the health of their battery. When you show them that, when I walk into a dealer and show them, hey, you've got a Lyriq out here, it's a 2024 Cadillac Lyriq, I'm going to show you it's a 93%, and they've never seen that before.
It's an aha moment.
Yeah, it's an aha moment for sure.
So, as you're thinking about used car acquisition, merchandising, on dealers' websites, Cars.com websites, Dealer Inspire websites, what should dealers be thinking about in terms of how they're promoting their EVs, used EVs specifically?
Yeah, okay, so a few things. One, having an accurate and complete data set on that vehicle. So if you look at a lot of websites out there today, what EVs have done is it's broken the rails for the industry. So, and what I mean by that is range sometimes isn't there on the VDP. Battery size is not there on the VDP. Charge times are not there on the VDP.
This is huge for ChatGPT, Gemini.
That's right.
Perplexity.
100%. Where are they get right? So they're not going to recommend potentially your dealership if you don't have that data.
Right. Or your inventory on your dealership.
Yeah. So, and for your sales team.
Right.
Okay. Let's say I'm a Hyundai dealer. Okay. I may know what range is on a 2025 Ioniq 6. I may not. It's a Hyundai vehicle. What happens
off the top of my head.
Yeah, exactly. But if I'll tell you what, they don't know what a Tesla Model 3 2022 range is on, right? So having a complete data set on their vehicle detail pages.
And why that's important is if you're doing a stack ranking on a ChatGPT or a Perplexity or Gemini, long tail keyword search, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And on a long tail keyword search, it's going to stack rank range between like a Mercedes. There's certain Mercedes that are 450 mile range, which is longer than most ICE engines.
Yep. And if you're not providing robust data set for those queries, for those prompts, you're not going to show up, right? So that's the first thing, is getting that data. And we provide all that data injected into VDPs as well. We have it available as an API service and so forth. But the second component is having the battery health right on the VDP, whether it's on Cars.com, whether it's on your website VDP. It's just like a Carfax report, right? Everyone's, if you're buying a used gas vehicle, you're going to want to know the Carfax. Was this vehicle in an accident? If you're buying a used EV, I believe strongly that every used vehicle will have a battery health report. to show the degradation, how much energy is left, any cell issues, as well as there's really interesting things we can do around benchmarking. So I'll give you an example. Let's say a Nissan Leaf showed an 88% degradation, right? There's 88% left in the capacity. That, I don't know without context whether that 88% is good or bad, right? That could be the best 2018 Nissan Leaf in America. But in order to see that, you need to have a robust data set. So to go back to your question, having that battery health front and center for the consumer is going to help move that car faster, build more trust and confidence with the customer.
If you had 5 bullet points, what would they be? Because this is super interesting to me.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, we want to answer all the customer questions. That's, I think,
so
what it is.
So you show up
right?
in answer engine optimization or Google AI overviews.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Right. And that the customers just, they don't have. Here's another point. If they're on your VDP, let's say they got driven to your VDP or Cars.com, you don't want them leaving to go to get this information. Once they go out there, now they're getting remarketed to and all sorts of stuff. It's scary out there, right?
Okay. So, pump the brakes. You're dropping a lot of knowledge here. So, so we're going to get back to that in a second.
Yeah.
But what Ryan's talking about here is the exact same thing that Carvana is doing on appraisal values. And they wait until they're at the bottom of the funnel, ready to transact, and all of a sudden they offer all these services and this information, so they show up in these organic searches and intercept these opportunities from franchise car dealers. So the same thing can happen with what you're talking about.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't even know about that. So what you're saying is they wait for customers who are ready to buy, and then they're getting that information in front of them as paid search and all this stuff.
They're giving them the information at the bottom of the funnel that many dealers aren't willing to give or don't know they should be giving. And so they're keying in on those keywords that other people aren't taking advantage of. And then used EVs, what Ryan's talking about is a huge hole with answer engine optimization.
Yeah. So perfect example, right? Yeah. So once I'm trying to get that information, whether it's range or charge times or what's the battery warranty on this vehicle, or can it plug into the Tesla supercharger network? Does it have access to the Tesla? What's the connector type on this vehicle? All that stuff, not on the VDPs, not on. So what a customer does is they go to that VDP and they have all these top of mind questions, right, which are the most important aspects of the
They
the
type
EV.
it into ChatGPT.
That's right.
Which one has a is compatible with Tesla charger?
Yeah. Or does this vehicle, exactly, is the Hyundai Ioniq 6, can I plug into a Tesla supercharger, right? They're now going to ChatGPT to do that.
And it's serving up the dealer that has this
That's
information.
Right, or Carvana or whatever, right? Exactly. So you're going to want to have all that table, we call that table stakes info. And so you're going to want to have all that info on the VDP, and then you're also, for used EVs, you're going to want to have that battery report for sure. Another question people have is around EV savings, like how much is it going to cost, how much is it going to add to my electricity bill, let's say, right? So having that right on your VDP. Essentially you want to have
because they're thinking about that versus what's their monthly gas fuel
100%.
cost.
And most shoppers, most EV buyers are first-time buyers, and they will be for a long time. And so they have these questions. Am I going to, is it going to cost me $50 on my electricity bill? Is it cost me $100? I have no idea. So having a tool for that also. So you're going to want to add all of those right where the shopper is, so they don't have to leave your site. And your sales team also in the store has access to that. Imagine you're a Mercedes dealer. You're trying to provide that best experience like we were talking to, and they don't have this information. They can't answer it, right?
Right.
So,
which, by the way, Carson, the new AI tool from Cars.com, is designed to do exactly this, but it's only going to pull, just like with ChatGPT, it's only going to pull from whatever the dealer has on Cars.com or their dealer inspired websites. So there's only, if you're not adding this information, you don't have access to this information to power it, it's not going to be able to pull it because it only knows what it can scan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So
this is gold.
Yeah, man. When are we getting Lyteflo reports on Cars.com, yeah?
I don't know. That's a great question. That's probably, we'll have to have a sequel about that.
That's right, man. That's right.
Thanks for coming out,
Yeah,
man.
thanks, brother.
Good
to see you,
That was
man.
a wealth of information.
Oh, thank you.